Good morning, I'm in Manchester. I'm heading over to see my friends at Crimson Performance. Today I'm going to do some power testing or power profiling. I haven't tested my power in quite a while, so this could be interesting. I haven't ridden my bike for 3 days since I'm trying to get over this illness, so today could go two ways. Either I could be really fresh and I smash it, or I'm just not going to do that well at all. What are we doing this morning?
So doing the power duration test, which is part of the Crimson Performance test battery. And not quite, an FTP test is just a time trial, and not very diagnostic, so you do one 20-minute effort, and it gets general zones, and that's really bad, it's not very diagnostic. But what this does, we do a couple of efforts, and we get to get your maximum aerobic power, your anaerobic tank, which is how much you can go into the red, and your sprinting ability all in one session.
Yeah, so who would benefit from a test like this?
Anyone really who wants to get better at cycling, so it's more diagnostic, and a test like this identifies your strengths and weaknesses. So if you're starting out and want to know what you're kind of good in, you can go into an event that suits you more. Yeah. Or if not, if you're more kind of experienced, so a first cat or an elite rider, it just helps you quantify your metrics moving forward and know what you're good at, what you're bad at, and monitor your performance. So essentially it allows you to more accurately sort of specify your zones? Yeah, training zones, where you're at from a performance point of view in terms of what you're good at and what you're not good at, and just tracking how you've changed over time. Yeah, so you're going to warm up for 20 minutes, so you've just started now. Then we're going to do a couple of sprints. Yeah. So we'll go into more detail about that, but that's simply just rolling at 60-70 RPM and hit it as hard as you can for 5 seconds. Have a quick break, then we'll do like a 3-minute time trial, and we'll go over to the powers I'm going to go or do that with in a minute. Have a nice 1 hour, 40-minute break, and we'll do a 12-minute trial. Alright. And they're all maximal. So we're going to start with the easier efforts, and it's going to progressively get harder. So I've done the sprint and the 3-minute test now. That's so hard, especially after being like ill all week. I didn't know how it would go. I think I'm pretty happy with it. We're going to go through all the results in the end with Matt. He's going to sort of explain everything, but so far so good. I got a bit of a break now, and then straight into a 12-minute effort. Alright, skipping ahead a little bit of time now. I had about a 40-minute break after that 3-minute effort. Now this is for the final and the longest test. I'm going to do a 12-minute, well essentially it's a 12-minute time trial effort. I don't really know how to pace this effort. I've never done like a 12-minute effort before. I've done like 10 minutes and I've done 20 minutes and I've done 15 minutes. So I think I'm going to try and sort of hit like 380, 390 and then, I don't know, see where we go from there. How do you reckon we're getting on so far?
I think you've done really well in the first 2 tests. Yeah. And Mac's sprint test was...
We won't tell them yet.
We'll keep them hidden for the time being.
If you want to see the power numbers, keep watching to the end of this video.
So that's 371, I believe. Just gonna check that.
Yeah, I didn't know how I would go today with 3 days off the bike, so trying to get over this illness. I did what I could though.
You did. Oh. Jumping into a performance test is one way to test the legs.
Check out Crimson Performance.
How did you find the 12-minute camp in terms of pacing?
Up until about 5 minutes, I felt pretty bang on, and then after that, like, I went from feeling very good to very bad very quickly. Like, that drop off was quite quick. Like, I tried to adjust my power by like 10, 15 watts, and it's just so hard to like keep on top of that gear. Psychologically, the 3 minutes harder.
Yeah.
But it's almost like you think in your brain that you think in your mind that it's a lot quicker than what it is. It's surprising when you're doing a maximal effort how slow 3 minutes actually passes.
Yeah.
Whereas 12 kind of like you're expecting it to be longer. So psychologically it's a bit easier, but obviously physically it's still bloody hard.
So now Cam's finished the 3 tests. We are now just going to input the data into the Crimson Performance platform, and then we're going to produce a performance report from that, showing Cam's strengths and weaknesses, and also profiling his data against different standards, and then finally profiling what type of rider he is. So, as well as giving training zones and power targets too.
So the max power, your sprint, so the highest mechanical power output you could produce in your sprints was 1,454.
Yeah.
Your 3 minute power was 493 watts, which is pretty decent. And your 12 minute power was 372 watts. Now if you turn over there just to see there, you type in today's weight thing to your body mass, and if you want, you can add another time trial to help the fit. So if you're mad enough or keen enough to do another time trial, you can simply add it. But for today, we're just going to do the 3 and the 12 and the max power. When we're all done, so press give me my results. If you scroll down, here's your power output or your power duration curve. So what that means is it's the power outputs you can hold for what's projected for your maximum time trial. So here you've got your max power, you've got somewhere 3 minute and your 12 minute. And the red dotted line, as you can see there, is your max aerobic power. So what that means is the highest power output that you're metabolically stable at, or anything higher than that, you're going into the red. The area between your max aerobic power and your power duration curve is your anaerobic tank and anaerobic energy. And what that means is a finite pool of energy or store, like I view it as a pot of money, that you can either, once you go over your max aerobic power, you can either spend it all at once in a minute when you have a high power output, or over time. So it's kind of like a finite pool, but once it's gone, it's kind of gone. If you want to bring it back, you have to go under maximum aerobic power, and it reconstitutes at different rates for different people.
So how accurate would this be between like someone like me and rider B, rider C? Would everyone's like zones be relative to the power outputs that it did for the certain tests?
Yeah. So basically, it computes all together in terms of your training zones in particular. Are done relative to your max aerobic power, and then also if you can see here, we've actually calculated the zones. Okay. So we've calculated your anaerobic tank and your max aerobic power, and what you can chuck out for probably a decent best effort on any given day for the time period as well. So we've got here your max aerobic power is 330 watts, and your anaerobic tank is like close to 30 kilojoules. That's pretty decent. That's a pretty sizable tank compared to the lay. And something we'll see how it compares later. Your peak power for your size and mass is actually pretty decent as well. Okay. And here we've got, and if you ever did it again, what you did now last time on your personal best. And these are your training zones. So again, these are all relative to what you've just done. So you've got active recovery, zone 2, threshold and sweet spot. So there's your sweet spot, there's your threshold, and power at VO2 max. Okay. We've also normalised everything to body weight. And your zone 5 efforts there. So max aerobic power to weight, we've got you down as 4.5, which is sort of club hitter Cat 2 rider. If you just scroll down there a little bit further, you can see there are different levels so you're actually pretty decent in terms of relative aerobic power. If you scroll down further, you've got the anaerobic tank, and here you can see your 400 on the dial, you're pretty high. So if you scroll down a bit further, you can see we've got you down as crit hero. So you've got a pretty sized anaerobic tank for someone of your size. which probably comes from like your BMX background, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And your max sprint as well is 19.6 watts per kilo. And we've got you down here as legend sprinter, so we're just giving you like different categories of what you do. So if we go down to the power profile, we've kind of given like a triangle of where you're at in terms of body to mass, what your strengths are. And we've just got here down as a performance center as crit hero. So your strengths are, as it just says here, your anaerobic and sprint abilities, which is kind of no surprise of what we just said. And if your best chance of success is stick to the criteria of bunch races on the track, as well as trying to surf the wheels. So don't do the hero and do the long breakaway. Get into the break, hide in there for as long as you can, and then just get into the sprint.
Yeah.
So we suggest performing the Crimson Performance Power Profile test once every 4 to 8 weeks. And with that, you will obviously be able to complete a test again and reassess your development as a rider within that phase.
So if I go home and start training now, would it be okay if one of the 3 areas improves but the other 2 decrease, or would you expect an increase?
It depends on your what you aim the training block is. For example, if you're looking to improve, for argument's sake, your aerobic power, you have to do a lot more miles and more endurance at specific targeted zones which we're provided here. But you have to be sort of mindful that, say, the anaerobic tank will perhaps deplete a bit, and your max sprint might go down as well.
But that's okay.
That's like, if that was the aim of the thing. If you wanted to keep your anaerobic tank, you have to sort of periodise your training correctly to make sure that you're doing enough training to keep that while increasing something else at the same time.
Performance testing is absolutely essential at keeping your training zones dialed in. So regular testing is crucial for.
So anyone who owns a power meter will benefit from doing this.
Absolutely. You can only see it.
If people have got watt bikes, it doesn't matter what power meter you've got, as long as you've got access to a power meter, you can do this anywhere and everywhere. You can it doesn't have to be on the turbo, you can do it on the road, but we just recommend turbo because it's more controllable and you can have a fair comparison.
Take away the variables.
But you can do it, as long as you have the same track or the same course, there's nothing to stop you from doing it on there as well. So it can be applied anywhere. And I think the beauty of this test is that we have lab tests that with lactate analysis and gas analysis cost a lot. The equipment's quite expensive and it's quite time consuming. This you can do on simply a power meter and a turbo at the very least.
So when people go onto the Crimson Performance site, set up an account, do the test, put in all the data, how do they know what to do with that data?
Good question. So our performance report is very simplified, quite easy to understand, but ultimately we've developed this platform for complete beginners and also seasoned professionals. So it needs to kind of appeal to everyone in that sense. Our report is very visual. We have visual representation of how your data ranks to different standards, but ultimately as well we have a platform here which provides the understanding. So within your dashboard we have this section here, and we've produced videos here of actually full breakdown of your performance report and actually what your training zones mean as well. And that's kind of the breakdown from a sports scientist point of view, and it's giving you that deeper understanding around your results. What actually do these results mean in the real world, in the middle of a race or a criterium or a time trial. It's about empowering people with power meters to use them better, but also to train smart, race smart. It's rather than just looking at a number on your cycling computer. It's having a deeper understanding as to what that actually means and how you can tune in your performance accordingly. Get the most out of yourself when race day comes round.
Brilliant, mate. All the best.
Thanks for the pain.
Nice one, Cam.
See you again.
All right, we'll see you soon.
My power profiling session with Crimson Performance is done. I'm pretty happy with my 5 second and my 3 minute power test. Not so happy with my 12. I feel like when you're ill, you can kind of get away with a max sprint and like a 3 minute test. You can just sort of get it all out of you. But for the 12 minute test, for the 12 minute test at least, you got to be fit. You got to be on your top form. You can't really get away with doing a 12 minute test when you're not 100%. So once I am 100% at home on my trainer, I'm gonna do another 12 minute test, just the 12 minute test on its own, and hopefully improve on that result. Obviously back in the office now, but quick note before I end today's video, the guys over at Crimson have offered to give you guys, the viewers, a 10% discount code if you want to sign up for like a 1-year subscription. So head over to the Crimson Performance website, link will be in the description, and enter code CyclingCam10 at the checkout and you'll receive 10% off the software. You can also sign up on a month-to-month basis. I think that's it. Thanks for watching. My legs are in a lot of pain now. I will see you in the next one.